Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, of course, as always, we want to give a thanks and a nice little plug to those who help us bring the show to you for free on whichever platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. You've probably had it at the AIW shows. If you live down in the Massillon area, you can now order some takeout and I believe some delivery from Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. Give them a follow on social media, Twitter, Instagram, got Facebook. Just look up Smokin' Jay's, Jay Barbecue, BBQ. It is delicious. I have no idea about nutritious, but it sure as hell is good. Give that a try.
Come on, you didn't do your research? You didn't get the proper handles?
I don't have the...
You don't got your notes in front of you?
There's no notes on this show. My goodness. Anytime we try notes, things go off the rail. It is Smokin', no G, _ Jays, Jays, BBQ on the Instagram. And I knew that. I want to make sure that it's the same on Twitter. It is. There you go. I knew it was one or the other, but it's the same. Love when it's consistent. Smokin' _ Jays BBQ on Twitter and on Instagram. Give them a follow. See all they're doing, and you can also find their address there down in Massillon. And of course, ways to contact them to set yourself up. So they got a nice little thing going on down there in beautiful Massillon, Ohio. They're on Grubhub now, so that's exciting. And Uber Eats.
Yeah, and if you're in the area, I know, I was talking to Brock, and he said it's been kind of, there's a lot of red tape for them to jump through to be able to get to the point to where they can, do delivery and sell food. They had to go through all their kind of government inspections and business licensing and all that stuff. So he said it was a lot more tedious and, I guess, an uphill battle. I already said that, but than he expected. So if you're in the area, please support Brock. He's a good dude, and hopefully he doesn't. It's to that point to where it took him so long to get going. He's like, it's so early in this project, but from what he was explaining to me, that it's like already at a day-to-day sort of thing, because they were paying for their facility. They got like a brick and mortar type of location, and they've been paying for it, and then they had no money coming in. So if you can help them out, that would be great, because I know this is something Brock's been working towards forever, and he's finally there. He's on the cusp, and hopefully it isn't taken away from him too quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So support Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, especially if you live in the Massillon area. If you live in the Canton area, take a trip down there. I know they're kind of adjacent, obviously, so you can be somewhat nearby and go pick it up. So it is wonderful, wonderful eats there. Macaroni and cheese. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about how good that food is. And thanks, of course, to the merger of IWTV and Smart Mark Video. Listen, watching AIW, it's never been easier. If you love the physical media, go to smartmarkvideo.com, purchase a DVD, but you can also buy MP4s, save them however you do so digitally. And of course, go to independentwrestling.tv and use the code ABSOLUTE so they know that we sent you to IWTV, and get yourself a $9.99 subscription. Watch all sorts of tons of hours of AIW, but also plenty of other independent wrestling promotions, all right there on IWTV, including live streams, including this week's live stream. Surprise!
Which I didn't even know it was live streaming. Caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But Dive Bar, are they still a sponsor? I don't know. Are they? They didn't pay us last time, did they?
He will.
You might have to go shake that guy down.
He will. He was at a wedding, so he was not there to give us.
I have to go shake him down.
Money there. I got to go shake somebody down. So shout out to, not shout out, but thanks to Dive Bar for being a wonderful sponsor.
I don't want to have to send my muscle down to dive bar.
Who is your muscle?
Josh Bishop.
Okay, I figured. I just wanted to make sure. And here's the thing: if you send Josh Bishop
Isaiah
to
Bronner?
dive bar, that's a better pick as your muscle to go to dive bar. You send Josh Bishop as your muscle to dive bar, he ain't gonna go do a shakedown. He's gonna get involved in the atmosphere of dive bar.
I don't think so. He's on edge these days.
He'll get sidetracked. Edge, like his favorite wrestler growing up.
Was it Ed? No, it's not Edge.
Oh, Josh Bishop is a big Edge head, dude.
No.
Yes.
No. Edge was never in TNA.
It doesn't matter. He was a huge Edge fan.
He's a huge Christian fan because Christian was in TNA.
I know, but he's also a big Edge fan.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was his favorite.
Tweet him and ask him.
That's his
Somebody
favorite
out there
WWE
listening.
guy.
I don't know if I buy that.
Well, I got an Edge T-shirt for free when I was working for Monster.
He's a John Cena fan. I know that.
Yes, he is. John Cena and Edge.
I never heard him talk about Edge.
Oh yeah, I had when I got my free T-shirt working WWE night for Monsters Hockey. I got a couple free tees, and one was an Edge, and I was like, dude, it's only a medium. He's like, oh my god, I love it. I want that. I'll cut it up. I don't care. I'm like, all right. So
I don't know.
He's an
To
Edge
be
guy.
determined.
Edge and John Cena, man. He loved it. It was the big.
Neither in TNA, so I'm not buying they're at the top of the list, but
That's fair. That's fair. No special guests on this week's episode. It is back to the old school duo, AIW owner John Thorne and myself, Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. And we go into this week, and surprisingly, it's a hard sell Tuesday because we didn't know we were going to be streaming. Not so many tickets to try and sell at the Winchester.
we still haven't sold them all though, which is a little a little worrisome.
Yeah. But it's, Winchester, I feel like typically was a walk-up crowd. We'll see how that goes. Keep in mind, folks, remember, please, you do need to have proof.
Before we get into all that though, don't we do the shout outs before we get into the meat of it? Who's shouting out?
We do.
This is your segment. I
just wanted to make sure that I got that part across.
But you start talking about the show, then it just down the rabbit hole we go.
That's fair. Let's jump into the shout out.
Who's your shout out? Give me a shout out.
Shout out to this. That's where I was going with this. Actually, Charlie Butters in the Discord brought up the fact that we were streaming. I think it was Charlie Butters. Did I not shout out the right person? My God.
Yeah, I think it was him that found it.
Charlie Butters. He's got a popular IWTV guide. That's his podcast. Does a good job with that.
Shout him out.
Shout out to Charlie Butters for letting us know. We had no idea that we were streaming.
I had no clue. I mean, I could go back and look in texts, but I'm almost 99% positive that the Winchester and the Akron shows were both on the not streaming live list a few months ago. Now, I don't know if what happened on 9/10 caused them to just, they're going to give it a shot. I don't know if it's a Thursday. I don't know what caused the change, but all of a sudden it was just, and it had to have been a recent decision because it just popped up on our schedule, like on our landing page yesterday. So, and then also I was asked, like, what's the hashtag for Thursday? And I was like, so I don't know what happened with all that, but
there you go. Well, we're streaming live now, folks. But speaking of the Discord, shout out to the newest AIW Discord member. His handle in there, Filthy TL.
Shout him out.
Tom Lawler has made his way into the AIW Discord, and that is thanks to Scott Random.
Scott Random met up with him when he was out there at the Cauliflower Alley Club, I guess.
Out in Vegas, I had a message from Scott Random. He said, "Hey, I hung out with Tom Lawler in Vegas. I told him about the AIW Discord, and he wants in." And I shot Tom a text. And I was like, "Hey, Tom, do you really want to end this, or are you just being polite?" He was like, "I love Discords. Sign me up." I was like, "All right."
So the way Tom Lawler was talking, I don't think we even know the power of a Discord. It's like
Tom Lawler.
I just look at it like a chat room, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I watch stuff in there," and like all this stuff. I was like, "What?"
We have no clue. He gets MMA stuff in a Discord.
Yeah, he says he gets like bootleg streams in there and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know. I just use it as like it's like a chat room. Maybe we're missing out. We're missing out on the technology.
Well, we're clearly not doing something right there. If you know
that's
how
a
to
story.
do this.
That's a story of everything that we do.
Yeah.
Patreon, Discord. We don't know the podcast. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
No clue. I'm gonna give a shout out to The Miz. Since his dad is a friend of AIW, The Miz is on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if you watched this show, John Thorne.
Why would you fucking think in a million years I watched that show?
You're a guy who just randomly sometimes tunes into stuff just for the sake of popular culture. I don't know.
I'm not a Dancing with the. I did see that Sensei John Kreese is on there in the commercials though.
Oh,
Martin
really?
Cove. Yeah, Martin Cove. He's like 80 years old.
Shout him out, man.
He's in the commercial because I think I don't know what I was watching. Probably AEW or something, and there was. I don't know what, but I saw an advertisement for Dancing with the Stars, and it was like, The Miz, Martin Cove. I was like, what the fuck?
Love that those two are together.
Well, I'll give a shout. I got a shout out. Somber shout out. Shout out to Norm Macdonald who passed away last week.
Oh, yeah.
Very sad.
That is a somber one.
Very sad. I've been going down like Norm Macdonald wormholes for like the last week straight, and man, what a genius! Like, talk about a guy that just did not give a fuck. So great. Like, his comedy is like just such common sense that goes over so many people's heads. I love it. I love Norm Macdonald. Dirty Work, great body of work there out of Norm Macdonald. And
even,
man, like
in Billy Madison, even though he didn't have a huge role, like
just like cameo roles.
Yeah,
man, and like he had like cancer for like 10 years and just didn't tell anybody. Like, dude, like what? Like that is like some rock star shit. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even imagine. But I did find an interview where he talked about some actor that did that, and he like worshipped that decision. Like some actor that he was a fan of or whatever, he found out, had done the same thing and died without his family knowing. So I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy that he kind of had the whole thing planned out for all these years. But yeah, I mean, so much funny stuff out there. Like Norm Macdonald has a show on Netflix. I watched all those. I was
just gonna say, I don't know if you had ever.
I watched all those episodes last week. I watched it when it premiered or whatever, but I went back and watched all that. There's just so many like like late night clips on YouTube.
Oh, and that's when he's kind of was at his best, popping up on Conan or Letterman, and it's so good. And he did the last stand up set on Letterman's show.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Yeah, and he was like a gigantic fan of Letterman. There's like some great Howard Stern interviews with him. Like there's just like endless amounts of content. One of the funniest things that I came across when I was just like down this Norm Macdonald wormhole was he was like hired, and he obviously did not understand the concept, to host some YouTube show. Like YouTube was doing like a red carpet event, and like he just must have thought it sucked because it was on the internet. So he like showed up in like sweatpants and like a sweatshirt and was just like, he had his notes and he's like, all the big stars are here. And then he would like name some YouTube handle that was on his notes. And he's like, this thing's making me realize I got to get the fuck back on TV. It's like, there's like a super cut of it. I don't know, like Norm Macdonald at the YouTube comedy something. Look it up. Great. Great stuff.
He was someone who was on my like bucket list as a person who's in charge of booking a comedy festival and comedy shows. Norm Macdonald certainly was on there. It's like, man, I would love to be able to have a conversation with him.
I can't, and like it makes you realize like all the all the stuff you just kind of like don't think about and miss. And it's like Norm Macdonald probably came to Cleveland 100 times. I never went and saw him ever.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like it's like you know, you really kind of regret that kind of stuff. I associate stand-up comedians, like I'm fascinated with stand-up comedians. It's not, you know, like the true blue like stand-up comedians, like some of them go on to have success in movies or whatever, like a Norm Macdonald. But I'm fascinated with them because I think that there's so many parallels between stand-up comedy and pro wrestlers.
Oh sure.
And it's like such just like a very similar lifestyle. So I'm fascinated, and you know, I always kind of fall down these wormholes whenever like a famous stand-up comedian dies, and you know, just do so much research, and also, you know, speaking of, I'm sure there'll be a documentary on Norm Macdonald eventually because there's just so much stuff out there and so many people, you know, he was so beloved. But you know, this is kind of like on the same vein. If nobody has ever seen the Zen Diaries of Larry Shandling on HBO, that is a great documentary. Gary Shandling. Shandling. Larry Sanders. Yes, Gary Shandling, who played Larry Sanders. Yeah. It's you know, that is a great documentary as well. You know, just stand-up comedians are just so fascinating, and the parallels between pro wrestlers. You know, I love watching. I don't necessarily care about watching stand-up specials, but I love watching like the documentaries on stand-ups and just learning more about them.
Yeah, that's I watched that whole thing. That was a thing that you told me about, and you're like, dude, I think you'd really like this. And man, I did. I loved it. It was incredible. But yeah, that's a conversation that I had with Eddie Kingston and Homicide years ago, sitting at what was then probably Tequila Jack's, not Music Links yet. Do you remember the fact that we had Homicide there?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, we were talking about it for like 30 minutes before a show one day. We were talking about all these parallels, and Homicide's asking me stuff, and like, oh, dude, is it, you know, like this? Is there dumb drama and things? I'm like, oh, for sure. And you know, and the fact that you keep working your ass off for years and years. Sometimes you hit the road and you're not even really making much money, and
it's all in like the lifestyle is similar, the, you know, the camaraderie is similar, like you know, you see a lot of stand-up comedians kind of like pro wrestlers, like, you know, you don't see each other for years and then you can see each other and it's just like no time has passed. And that's another thing I like, you know, like I said, I don't necessarily like sit down and make it a point to watch stand-up specials, but I'll listen to, you know, like stand-ups on podcasts and things like that. Like Norm Macdonald, Mark Maron just re-released it. Norm Macdonald's on Mark Maron's podcast, so I listened to that. You know, he re-released it. I think it was from like 2011, or, you know, it's from a while ago. And it's just kind of fascinating to kind of, when you see them, you know, because Norm obviously had a shtick and, you know, whatever, but he kind of, you know, breaks that down and just gives a straight podcast, which was very fascinating. Speaking of Eddie Kingston, shout out to Eddie Kingston's Twitter, RIP. It's gone.
I was working a lot this weekend. I missed all of that, and I haven't talked to him about it. I'm sure. I guess somebody pissed him off, apparently.
I don't, you know, it's just people take things and run with it, and then it turns into this is why I'm growing more and more tired of Twitter, because it's just like the discourse on Twitter is just like so radical. You know what I mean? Like there's no conversations on Twitter. It's just fighting and arguing. And, you know, there was a photo of, and I don't think it was meant to be derogatory, but like John Silver posted this photo of all these people that had done Jakara before, and they're all at AEW, and it's just like from $50 paydays to long car trips, and, you know, look at where we all are now. And like all these people like took that as like $50 paid. Jakara's only paying people $50, and like turned it into this whole like wrestler, like indie wrestling doesn't treat the people right, and blah blah blah. And you know, everyone's got their their comments on everything, and their opinions. And my favorite thing is like when the wrestler who agreed to said payday and accepted terms of said booking for said payday now goes back in retrospect and says said payday was not good enough, even though all of the promises were met and everything was fulfilled. Now, years later, they will look back and say, well, that wasn't good enough. And it's just kind of like pile on time on Twitter. And I think Eddie started kind of saying like, hey, that's not how it was for me. And people are like, oh, what are you doing defending, Mike Quackenbush and Chikara and, whatever your opinion is of Mike Quackenbush and Chikara, that's fine. But you have to respect that Mike Quackenbush and Chikara trained Eddie Kingston and gave Eddie Kingston a platform. And, no matter what, he probably has he maybe didn't have all those negative experiences there, and I think he was just trying to give his side of the story, and people just started attacking him.
And I think Eddie, not to speak for him, but I know him decently well, and Bryce has, I think, tweeted about this sentiment in the last however many, actually, I mean, not even with that picture, even previous to that, the thought of Chikara, and I get that it's kind of polarizing now, but these people who participated in it, despite the fact that maybe there is this negativity involved, they still have positive sentiment because, again, like the parallels, right? It's that camaraderie.
It was like some of their formative years, and
they were all in it together.
And I think that was the point of the picture to begin with. And then Twitter just breaks down and runs with it, and people are posting emails they got from Mike Quackenbush, and it turns into this whole other thing. And like everyone's got to tell their story and what was bad about it, and all it was meant to be was, hey, it was just meant to be like, hey, look at us now,
when we're still all real.
And
cool with each other.
maybe John Silver was taking a dig. I can't speak for John Silver. I don't think he was, though, in my opinion of it. I think it was like a hey, look at us now sort of thing.
Sure.
But and then people Eddie starts quote tweeting people, and then that just brings out the other trolls, and he just deleted his Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, all these people want to comment on, what people should get and what people shouldn't get. And, it's easy to just say that, when you don't know the situation. We're talking about, 10 years ago, 5, 10, 15 years ago.
20 in some cases.
You just don't know. And it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, that's what I find myself doing now. Like, I look at Twitter, and you can maybe scroll for 2 minutes until you see some sort of negative arguing going on, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, go do something. You know what I mean? Like, just stop. Like, Twitter is just getting, it's really like I tweeted Joe Spostos today, like the Owen Hart thing today. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's got an opinion on the Owen Hart an AEW arrangement today, and it's just like,
oh, I don't know about this yet.
Oh, well, like, they worked out a deal with his wife and the foundation, and they're gonna I assume license Owen Hart and do a tournament or something in his honor, and everyone is like arguing about it, like, he's a WWE guy, and like. It's just like, who cares? The decision had nothing to do with you, like, who gives a shit? Like, it's between his family and what they wanted to do with his, with his legacy or whatever, whatever. But like, who cares? Like, who cares to argue with people on Twitter that don't make the decisions,
Somebody tweeted this recently, and man, it may have been Eric Stevens, and it was something to the point of like everyone trying to use their voice on social media has led them to not taking action in real life.
Yeah, they just think they have a voice.
Yeah, but what are you doing in your real life every day to back up this
Nothing
thing? And that's exactly it. So just shut up. What's as my good friend John Thorne likes to say, are you going to talk about it or are you going to be about it?
Right. Just shut the fuck up.
If you're not going to be about it in your everyday real life, then yeah, shut up. Don't even.
And it's just like, it's making wrestling not fun, honestly. Sure. You know, and it's just really making it not fun. You know, like through the last, you know, year and a half, through COVID and all this stuff, and like it just seems that, you know, everyone's got to have, you know, something to say about every topic now, and everyone leads these like perfect angelic lives now, and like, yeah, it's just like, give me a fucking break, you know, like just shut up. Yeah, like it's just it's crazy. But I think that is probably, you know, what happened to Eddie Kingston. He was probably like, no, this is what happened to me, and gave a legitimate opinion on a matter. And people that weren't there are like, no,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. It should be like this.
Your lived experience. Yeah.
It should be like this. And he just deleted his Twitter. And, you know, good. You know, like Instagram, you could just post a picture and you don't have to fucking look. You know what I mean? You don't look at anything.
You could even turn off the comments if you want to.
Facebook is just like, if you're not posting about politics, I mean, it's a pretty regular place to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Twitter is just like insanity.
It's vile. Yeah.
It's it's insanity.
Even it's the point where even the people who are, in theory, in their minds, trying to do right, are some of the most vile.
Well,
and they're going to say, no, but I'm in the right because I'm standing up for the right side. But it's like, yeah, but you're doing it in a very negative way.
This is a whole rabbit hole we're going down. But like, people, like, I think people's like opinions now are formed by how they will be viewed on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have a real stance on anything.
No.
It's just like, well, I don't want to say this because if I said this, I know people will be mad at me on Twitter. No matter what you say, people are going to be mad at you on Twitter. You know, like, no matter what side of anything you're on. It's just like, but I feel like there's people that just try, like, their brain is forming based on, like, the way Twitter operates, and it's just insane to me. Like, I don't know. But it's the whole thing is just making like wrestling and everything, and like we don't even get attacked. It's just like reading it is like makes it exhausting to want to like produce things in this space, you know?
Yeah, it sucks. I kind of like just going, posting, and bailing and not reading. I like to keep up on sports. That's about it.
I mean, I haven't had Twitter notifications turned on my phone in years, but like when I go and look at it and like you scroll your feed and it's just like, you know, insanity. Like, listen, some of it is like, you know, some of it is justified or whatever. But, you know, there should just be like I just want to see what this person says. I don't want to see what anybody responds to it. You know, like I don't want to see any replies. Like I just want to see like news and no replies. And then the thing that kills me is the people I don't follow. I don't do anything. Like their shit is always in my fucking feed. It's people I don't want to hear from. I don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit what you think about the plane ride from hell. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. I had to tune out of Twitter from that. Like, all right, okay. I get bad. I understand it. Bad things happened.
Yeah. It's
and I know that's like very, saying that was probably very desensitive, but whatever.
I mean, these stories have been out there for 20 years, like, and then I guess there's like a new generation that don't know about it, but it's just like, can I just like read something funny on Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, do I have to see all this just like awful shit? You know, like these awful, like, just, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't look at Twitter to like find out about like the most awful shit in the world, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I have a job for. I go and see that shit at my job.
Well, I'm going to give a positive shout out to, to bring in the positivity to my favorite TV show out there right now. It's on Apple TV Plus, Ted Lasso. They won 7 Emmys last night, including Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. It's labeled as a comedy, but it's a very great feel-good show. It's a really great show, like well-rounded.
I watched the first season. I watched the first season. It was fine. I wasn't crazy about it. I don't see what the love is. I love fucking Jason Sudeikis, though. I mean, I think he's great in everything. We Are the Millers is an all-timer. But,
Sure.
I mean, I thought it was fine. I wasn't, like, rushing to watch season 2, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
I'll tell you another thing, you know, while you're giving shout-outs.
Yeah.
I watched this fucking show because you made a comment about how great it is, so I really didn't do anything this weekend. I was trying to get some, you know, action going on YouTube again, and I was working on, you know, because Hell on Earth, I feel, is, you know, hopefully if everything goes well, that's going to be like our official relaunch. So I'm trying to get, like, you know, stuff in the can for the full court press of attention. So I was working on video stuff and all that this weekend. And you posted about this show, Tacoma FD.
Yeah.
And it's on HBO Max. It fucking sucks. It sucks.
No, it's on
HBO Max though.
Oh, is it? It's on
because
FX or something.
it's on True TV, I think. But it's like,
yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
But HBO Warner owns all that stuff, so this whole series is on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
I turned it on.
You're not a fan.
It's no fucking Club Dread, I'll tell you that. No Club Dread.
Oh, Club Dread was the worst one.
Club Dread's the best one.
No.
Club Dread is Broken Lizard hasn't done a good thing since or before Club Dread. And Tacoma FD. Tacoma FD is. No, I don't like the Slammin' Solomon. I don't like that.
You don't like Super Troopers. That's not your thing.
It's okay. It's okay. Super Troopers 2 sucked.
Yeah, I love Tacoma FD. It's the character Andy Maiwani I love, but do you see the ridiculous like similarities between there's that guy Ike, he kind of plays like the idiot on Tacoma FD, and Dexter Loomis in NXT?
They look very similar, yeah.
Dude, same guy. Holy crap.
I don't think it's the same guy, but they look real similar. But I was I watched a bunch of episodes of that while I was working on video stuff. I mean, it's fine, but
yeah. You might like this show on HBO Max. There's only 2 seasons of it. It was the original sitcom on True TV, and it's called Those Who Can't. And it's these guys who are like best friends. They are comedians. They're based out of the Denver area originally. And this show is all about teachers at schools. And they basically like just hate the kids at the school. And so they just like shit on them the whole time. And it's supposed to be kind of like, oh, here's how teachers really are behind closed doors. And there's like the super popular jock, and they all want to be.
And I already know what they're like behind closed doors. They go fishing.
The teachers go fishing?
Yeah, Josh Prohibition. That's all he does is go fishing every day.
Yeah, and a big pork roast.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Recently. I wasn't. I am looking for a new show to watch, though. I mean, I'm fresh out of shows. It's just nothing. Oh, I watched *Malignant* this weekend.
I don't know what that is.
This is like turning into a whole not a wrestling podcast. I don't know what it is.
It's fine.
But
yeah.
*Malignant* is it's like the straight to HBO Max movie. You know, it's in theaters at the same time. It's like a horror movie. I don't know. Everyone was raving about it. I mean, it was fine. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. It was, you know, it's fine. It's not great. It's not awful. I don't think I would ever watch it again.
Okay.
You know, it's just whatever. But that was pretty much my weekend.
Well, it's quite the weekend for you.
It was really boring. I just watched shit and worked on AIW stuff.
Shout out to the Cleveland Browns. Got their first win of the year. A home win against the Houston Texans. Baker Mayfield popped his shoulder out. Went right back into the game.
Almost had to put Tom Tupa in.
Almost. Tommy Tupa. Yeah, third string quarterback. It got close there. But pulled out the win. Not that sports is your thing, but I watched it. You know some names.
I watched it. So what I realized is you have to, like, if you have any job in the city of Cleveland limits, you just have to watch the Browns games so you don't look like a complete fucking idiot at work, because it's all anybody talks about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday. You know, maybe Thursday you get the Browns off, but you have to have some knowledge of Browns football because it's all anybody talks about at any workplace.
What's the most obscure or detailed factoid that you currently know about Cleveland Browns football?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I paid like great attention to sports like throughout my childhood. So.
Well, I mean, like this current team though. This what's going on right now?
What do you? I mean, an obscure factoid? Like
yeah, or like, do you know the defensive coordinator's name?
No.
Okay.
I know Myles Garrett. I know Clowney.
All right.
I know Denzel Ward.
Denzel Ward, yeah. People were not happy with Denzel Ward this past weekend, but he's from. Right here.
I know enough. I know enough to get by, and I watch the games and whatever. But
you know Nick Chubb, yeah,
Kareem Hunt,
yeah. There you go. You know the names. You're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know the star. You know, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. I know the stars. You know, Peoples Jones.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples Jones.
Hooper. I know Hooper.
Yeah. Try to get the new regime of
Schwartz.
Browns tight ends.
Schwartz, right? That's a new guy.
Anthony Schwartz. He's a wide receiver. Yeah. People are unhappy with him today too.
That's all right. People are unhappy with everything.
Yeah. Maybe Austin Hooper will come to AIW. It's a Cleveland Browns tight end tradition, unlike any other.
We shall see. Let's talk about some AIW. We're like 40 minutes in. We've fucking been talking about nothing.
Well, you went off on this Twitter tangent.
Fucking Twitter drives me nuts.
So, yeah, AIW camp. You know, you did talk about muscle and maybe sending Isaiah Broner down there. Isaiah Broner making his AIW debut this week at the Winchester against Big Twan Tucker. That's something he just dropped.
So, I probably got into it a little bit on this podcast before, but you know, the plan is hopefully, you know, we're gonna see how it goes, right? Because we have not sold all of the 100 tickets, you know, which the Winchester has an expectation of what we were doing pre-COVID in that place, and you couldn't move. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens if, you know, there's only 80 people there. You know, maybe they are like, what the fuck? So we'll see. But the plan is, if they want to, I didn't think we were gonna have problem selling 100 tickets. So, you know, but the plan would be to try to do, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 shows of the Winchester a year, and try to feature new people. You know, mix in, you know, the AIW regulars, but, you know, use it as a platform for new people or people that don't get a lot of action on the main shows. Isaiah Broner had been going to the AIW school for a little bit before he got hurt. He comes to every show. He helps out. So I thought this was a good place, you know, for him to get his foot in the door. And also, you know, like, much like the old Music Link shows and things like that, it helps kind of get people accustomed with new faces instead of just throwing them to the wolves. You know, when you're kind of like in that in between, like, you know, you're not like a well-known independent superstar, you know, but you're not, you know what I mean? Like, it gives, it kind of bridges that gap. So, you know, that was my plan for the Winchester going forward. You would see, you know, some of the local talents mixed in with some new talents, and you know, not really, well, one for this one, like, the plan would be, if we did more, which we have nothing more on the schedule there, but we would try to bring in, like, carloads from different areas so people would get to see new and fresh faces live. Some of them catch, some of them don't catch, you know what I mean? Like, very kind of low pressure, almost, I don't want to call them developmental shows, because, like, that's not what they are either.
Right.
But, like, just like something to kind of bridge the gap and, experiment a little bit to where, the main shows are pretty much reserved for, who they're, are major players. And then you bring in the, bigger outside talents there. You know what I mean? Like that was the plan. We'll see what happens. We still have a few days to sell those, I don't know, like 18 tickets or whatever's left. But, yeah, that's kind of the plan, is to, not just throw a whatever show out there, kind of have fun with it, use some different people, feature some different talents, put people in, a singles match that might not get a singles match, and then have, a couple of your, major AIW mainstays on the shows as well.
Yeah, you get, again, singles guys who maybe don't get it. Eric Taylor continuing his singles run while he waits for his partner to come back, and he gets to take on Johnny Patch, and Johnny's done some AIW stuff. He's been involved in scrambles and has done dark matches prior to the pandemic hitting and shutting us down for a while. So we get to bring him back. And he's another guy who's been coming around, just coming and helping out as well, just being a part of the fold that people don't see. So it's good to get him on the show, to the point that you just made, really.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, other people have been coming in and helping, like, that will be on the show, like Johnny Patch and, I don't even know how to say his name, Zachary Nystorm. I don't even know how to properly say his name. But, a bunch of people from Pittsburgh came to the Jefferson show and we're helping out, the Nightmare on North Elm Street show, and we're helping out. And, Derek has been advocating for some people, so figured we would throw them a bone, you know what I mean? Get some, give them, you put them out there and you see what happens.
Yeah. Speaking of Derek, little teacher taking on the student matchup, so to speak. Students, I should say. Derek is a guy that helps with training at the AIW Academy, and Derek and Ziggy, the production, taking on members only this Thursday. That's one to look forward to, I think. And if anybody watched Sunny Days and saw members only and their debut, then you're definitely going to want to tune in and watch this. That was a fantastic match for them to debut. We talked about it last week. I mean, perfect people to go up against in terms of 9 to 5, and here they are, get to prove themselves to a guy who's helped them over the last several years.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like throw members only, another bone, get them on another show. Get them in there with Derek and Ziggy, and see what happens. Like that's why I was kind of actually a little bit shocked about streaming, because I put together what would be like a great show for people to get reps in, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't necessarily putting together a live stream show, so it's like, right. It kind of caught me off guard, and I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but there's a lot that could be great. There's a lot that could go wrong with this lineup that's on for Thursday, So I was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh fuck, like we're going to stream, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but also, what's interesting, and this could work out if we can do more of these, it could be advantageous, right? In the sense that this is on a Thursday. Typically, we'll be on Thursdays if we do stuff with the Winchester. And there's not necessarily always a lot of stuff streaming on a Thursday night. And so you may have people who just tune in for the sake of tuning in. And something that we've always been trying to do for the last several years is, and I mean, even you have for years and years with AIW, but push newer names, get people invested and interested in newer names, and from the standpoint of the AIW Academy, get them invested in the students that are coming out of there. And you just don't know now. We're streaming, it's a surprise, but hey, members only could have a hell of a showing here on Thursday night, and you have people who tuned in just for the sake of tuning in, and they're absolutely floored by what they see. So
they did have a great showing at Sunny Days, but the stream was dead by then, and I don't know how many people go back and watch the VOD compared to who are engaged in watching something live, you know? Like, I don't know if, you know, we got anywhere near that number of people to go back and watch the VOD. You know, it's just, that's what's so strange about wrestling now, too, is like there's just so much content out there. It's like, how do you get people to watch AIW, you know, when there's 200 other companies on the service? Like,
right.
there's a lot to compete with. So, you know, Thursday is another, you know, John Thorne experiment to see, you know, what's going to work and what's not going to work. And, you know, it's just, that's what this whole process has been since we came back from COVID, is like a bunch of experiments and trial and errors and trying different things out. And this is going to be another version of that, you know. Thursday at the Winchester, you know, not pulling out all the stops talent-wise and, you know, going a different route and trying to, you know, really work with, you know, our core, and then bring in, I don't want to call them unknowns, but unknowns to our fan base, and, you know, see what sticks, and, you know, see, you know, what we can do.
Yeah, bell time, 7:30. So if you're planning to stream through IWTV, or you are trying to get a ticket here and see if you can make it, you're wondering what time everything starts, 7:30 is our start time at the Winchester Tavern. And again, if you're streaming on IWTV, there you go. Now you know, 7:30 p.m. Eastern to watch all of it live, taking fold from Lakewood, Ohio. Rip City Shooters will be there, newly minted tag team champions. Looks like to defend their titles for the first time ever. And they're calling whoever out. Open challenge.
Open challenge.
You know,
Open challenge.
Much like we told you, Josh Bishop, big fan of John Cena. Why not take in John Cena's footsteps and he's throwing down that open challenge for a title?
Anything could happen.
Just like his hero.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, you got thoughts about who might be answering this open challenge?
I have a pretty good idea who's answering it.
You want to... No hints?
No. No. No hints.
No hints, okay.
I have a pretty good idea, though.
All right. Well, John Thorne being quiet.
Being coy.
Yeah, playing coy. You're going to have to tune in, folks, if you want to see it. But yeah, what else can we say about this show? It's... I think, you know,
I put together, I think, a pretty good lineup.
Yeah. How many matches, I guess, total, if we're anticipating this, do we think?
8. Okay. Yeah, it looks like 8.
All right, solid.
That could always change.
Yeah. Now we are going to. Let me ask you this: as a promoter, when you found out that we were going to be streaming, were you now suddenly like, "Oh shit"? Well, now here we go. We got to stick to times. We got to do time cues. Were you hoping that this was just going to be a stress-free?
Loose. I was looking to be loose.
And it all changed. So how has your mindset changed literally in the last several hours from when we found out that this is streaming?
Like, I gotta work all day. I gotta go straight from work. You know, I gotta go there. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, 7:30. Maybe we'll start at 8. You know, who knows? Let's see how it goes. And now it's like it's streaming. It's like back to, fuck. It stressed me out a little bit.
Yeah, get a little worked up already. How do you think producer Dom is feeling right now?
Oh, he was like, he's like, oh man, don't worry. He's like, you don't even have to come. I can do the, I can run the whole thing. And I said, Dom, somebody would be arrested if I said I have to go. You can't. He has meltdowns, like meltdowns.
Yeah. No.
I said I gotta go. I mean, you'll kill somebody. Like, we don't even know. So like, it's been so long. Like, and I think Traxler is still under the weather. So it's like, we have these speakers, right, that a former person that was going to get them fixed forgot about, and we had to pay like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get out of storage. And I was like, Dom, we have these speakers, but like they also like they're a music venue. We should be able to plug in, right? So like I asked, and they said yes. But like, who knows what's gonna fucking happen, you know? Because like we don't have like a relationship there, so like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a sound system. Maybe we won't. You know, like they're like, yeah, our sound guy will be there. But I was like, do you guys have fucking sound for us to plug into? You know, like
yeah,
because we have these speakers, but then you got to go buy an amp and you got to do all this other stuff. And then like Ronald Two Legs is like, hey man, like I can help you guys out if you need, but you got to let me know by noon on Thursday. And it's just like, we're not even going to be there until 2:00. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Another week in the life of Absolute Intense Wrestling.
Well, you know, it was just like, I don't know. I like the Winchester was like so honest to do the show. And then, you know, like
which is flattering, by the way. Like it's right, like it's great that they want us to come back.
I just want them to continue to want us, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because of the vaccine rules or what. Like, I thought we would sell 100 tickets, you know, no problem. But you know, we're still kind of like stuck at this, you know, like we're almost there, but we're not there. And yeah, I don't know. And then, you know, like we had such like a system set up to where it's like, okay, like, you know, Smart Work Video does the filming, like Traxler comes and worries about all the fucking sound shit. And now it's just like Traxler can't come and worry about the sound shit. And it's just like, you know, what do we do? You know, it's like, what do you do? Like Wrestle Rager was almost a disaster. Like, it's just like, what do you do? Like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't want to. Do I go buy a whole fucking DJ setup, you know, just in case? Like, for the, you know, I don't know. How often do we not run the Odeon? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. Not very often. Yeah. You'd get it for Akron and Winchester and potentially Wrestle Rager. That's about it.
Right.
Or, you know, Hell on Earth. So, which, by the way, that's going to be a very big space. So, I understand the thought of, do we get a legitimate sound system because of that? Because you want everybody to be able to hear everything. So, yeah, there you go. That's
So I don't know.
You know, reminder, as I was saying,
logistics coordinator Arthur MacArthur is not fucking handling this shit.
A reminder back from the top of the show here, but I jumped the gun and we almost missed the shout out segment. You do need, as John said, you do need to be either vaxxed up or proof of having a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours in order to attend the show this Thursday. Those are the rules that the venue has set forth. So if you're anti whatever, we don't want to hear it. Don't come at us. Again, back to the Twitter talk. Don't jump on our social media and, you know, whatever. We do not give a shit about.
Yeah, I don't care what side of it is you're on. Like, it's not either. It's not way. My choice. Yeah, it's not my decision.
These are the rules. These are the rules. We
I mean, I hypothesize or whatever. Like in my head, like, is this why maybe the tickets aren't selling well? Like, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I tell you all the time that you can't base everything off of Twitter, but I know that like it's somewhat of a good sample size. But if you base everything off of Twitter, a lot of our fans are
pro-vaccine.
Pro-vaccine. So you would think that there'd be no problem with this. And
I mean, I don't know. You know, it could be it's a Thursday. We ran a lot of shows. There's a lot of other factors, but it's like, you know, you kind of think and like, you know, is this. You know, is that rule impacting, you know, those, you know, people that would have normally been like, no brainer, I'm going. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's going to be like cross that bridge when we get there on Thursday. I'm not worried about anything Thursday or anything like that. You know, it's just, Akron is like selling like insane. Like,
yeah.
I think we got like 8 second rows left, like 8 third rows left, and then I don't know, like
Well, and we
50 GAs left. I mean, like, for what it's set up for, like it's selling. Like when we announced Thunder Rosa over the weekend, like tickets have just been going nuts.
Which, if you listened to the podcast last week, we hinted that that something was being worked on, that another guest was being worked on. We could tell you now that was in fact Thunder Rosa. So October 2nd in Akron, you're going to get Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder. He will be there, as well as AEW's Thunder Rosa. So yeah, that's going to be a hell of a show there already, and we've only announced 2 people. So
yeah, I should probably book it. Like, I should probably figure out what the matches are.
Find out who's working who. As this week goes on, as we get to Thursday, will you be announcing more of the matches, or are you going with what's out there right now? And,
for the Winchester?
For the Winchester, yeah. Or do you want to let people know what else the
Yeah. I put everything on Patreon already. I'm just, I'm announcing them slowly. You don't want to just be like, boom, here's everything,
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go, folks. You either
Party Barker Pierce, he's going to make his return to the squared circle on Thursday.
Wow. We haven't seen him since Wrestle Rager. Prior to that, we hadn't seen him since Wrestle Rager.
Yeah, probably.
Party Parker Pierce will be back, so there you go. And so you're gonna have to follow. If you don't follow us, if you listen to this podcast and you don't follow us on social media, I don't understand that, but do so unless you don't have it. Follow us at AI Wrestling on every single social media platform that really exists that we have. That's what it is to find us. And you can see more of these matches as they get announced. You already know that the Rip City Shooters, Joshua Bishop, Wes Barkley, will be defending their tag team titles against whom we do not know. It's an open challenge. You're going to get Isaiah Broner taking on Big Twan Tucker, Malibu Eric Taylor taking on Johnny Patch, and the production, Derek Dillinger and Ziggy Heim taking on members only, Malcolm Cambridge and Calvin G. Lewis. And to find out what else is going to happen, tune in, 7:30 p.m., That's your bell time on
I guess we're streaming.
I guess we're streaming. And again, follow us.
Gonna have to book some flights now.
Follow us on social media at AI Wrestling to see the rest of the matches announced prior to Thursday. And anything else?
I've been getting calls like for business deals, and I'm just ignoring them because I don't want to do anything else.
Like people who want to be booked, you mean?
Well, no, I ignore those people because I don't want to pay their trans. Nobody take anything personally out there if I'm ignoring you. I just don't want to say no to people. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
I know they don't want to hear it. Like, they don't want to hear about fucking wrestling economics. Like, they just want a booking. So it's just like, they don't want to hear it.
What business deals are you shooting down?
Oh, some guy called me. Some guy, he called Arthur MacArthur, and then Arthur MacArthur was like, this guy's going to call you. And I didn't call him back. He's just like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to do anything else. He wanted to do... I don't even want to give it away because he'll probably sue me for giving away his idea on my voicemail. I'll tell you what it was afterwards. But it was just like, I don't know. Like, I just like him in that, like, I'm kind of burned out from all the shows that we did, like boom, 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 because it's like, oh, we got to get all these shows in because of COVID, and like we don't know if the world is gonna close, so like you got to get it all in.
Yeah.
And now like we did them all, and now we have 3 left to close out the year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, or 4 left.
4 left.
4 left. And it's just like, I think once we get back to like spacing things out, like, I could have more time to really like cultivate a card and like really kind of start laying a plan out, like I know people are like, where's, there's no angles, there's no stories, and it's just like, we've said that for months, but nobody listens. Like, we're just doing shows right now to do shows for the sake of doing shows. But like, really, it's like, I think we get through Thursday and Akron, and then there's a nice break, and I think it gives us all a breather to kind of like buckle down and say like, okay, let's get all this shit back on track. Let's get the Patreon back on track. Let's get the YouTube back on track. Let's get, the cards back on track, like, I mean, I'm not lying when I say I haven't even booked the Akron show yet, like, because things have just been piling up, and like, I'm booking attractions and I'm filling in the blanks later. And I know that, our like solid crew or whatever has all the dates. And then it's just like, I figure it out later. I hate that. So, but like with juggling like a real job and everything else that's been going on, like things have just been, getting away from me. So I'm looking forward to, October 3rd, when we have a nice long break to get to Hell on Earth, so we can sit down and get all this stuff kind of squared away.
Sure.
And, take a little break from the, the hustle and the bustle of the, watch our streams, watch this, like, there's only so much that many times you could tweet like, hey, watch this. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I started working on clips and different things and, trying different kind of promotional approaches over the weekend. That's what I would like to do. But, it's like, I'm one man, and like everybody else in the inner circle also has their own lives and their own projects and their own things going on. So it's like, it's hard to get everyone together to be like, hey, let's try to get this fucking wrestling promotion on track. You know, it's tough. So I don't want to add anymore. I'm like not taking any more fucking business calls. Like, it's just, I just don't care, like, I don't care. Like, renting the ring is like such a hassle at this point, cause you gotta get the guy, make sure the kids can do it. And they got bookings and they got all this other shit going on. So it's just
not just bookings, but like we've also, just from all of these shows that we've done so quickly, one after the other, we have taken up a lot of their time for that. You just don't, and you just don't want other lives right now.
Right. Like, you just don't want to do it, like what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds bad, but it's like, the whole process to take the ring, like 2 hours for this guy to do this thing for like $500 and, waste everybody's time and day. And, I don't know. Like, I was just like, I'm not even fucking calling this guy back. Like, he wants to do this deal in like less than a month. Like, this whole big operation. I was just like, nah, just forget it. Maybe he'll call me again and I'll answer, but it's just,
Figure it out.
It's like, I just want to do, like, it just seems different, like we were before. It was just like AIW was so locked in, and like it was kind of like I still don't feel like we found like our footing yet and our like placement within the industry still since coming back. Sure. So it's like it's always like everything feels so jumbled right now.
Well, so much has changed since we took time off. More people have been signed. More people continue to be signed.
More people have been released.
Yeah, and it's just the landscape truly has changed of everything. So it's, we're still figuring it out right now, and that's okay. We'll continue to do so. As we wind this down, those of you who are still listening to this point, I don't leave you with a couple questions. We'd love for you to get in the replies on whatever social media platform you follow us on and where we post the show. And whether you want to tweet at us at AI Wrestling, you want to get in the comments on Facebook or on Instagram. 2 questions. One, what are you looking forward to as these matches are announced coming into Thursday? Is there one you're looking forward to? Is there a new face that you're looking forward to seeing? Let us know what you think about that. And the other being, as John alluded to, we are going to have a lot of time in between October 2nd and then Hell on Earth, and that's all right around the corner. So we'll continue doing this podcast, but what do you want to hear us talk about? Do you want us to get back to reviewing some shows that we had well in the past? Do you want us to do more Q&A things? What do you like hearing from us? Let us know, and we'll get a good idea. And yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah. I really think it's just a matter of getting everybody kind of back on track. Like, we even still do this podcast remotely. You know what I mean? To where it would be like everyone would get together for a day, and we produce all this content. We just haven't gotten around to that mindset again. And it's just everyone has their jobs, and everyone's working all these different things, and have these different hours, and it's just been like life has changed so much throughout COVID. It's just been hard to we would be able to get 10 people in a room together like that, and we would produce like Patreon podcasts, and then 4 regular podcasts, and all this other stuff. And now we can't. I mean, it's just, and then I bring all the shit to the shows, and then the show takes, what I mean? Like there's no like, okay, like, let's sit down and podcast while all this shit is falling apart. You know what I mean? Like,
there's always something. No matter, it's always our best intention to do it, but something always happens, and
that's what I always want to do. Is I want to get shit for not even this podcast, but like for Patreon and all this other stuff, and like every time something just starts melting down on a show day, and then it's just like the cards just fucking fall from there.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But shout out to everyone that stuck it out with us on Patreon.
Yeah.
Because admittedly, we are bad at it. Like I'll say that. I try to put stuff on there every now and then, and like I know that we were really hitting the premium content there for a while, and it's fallen off, and I'm making like a conscious effort to do stuff with that. I can say like the North Canton Street Festival shows are going to be like, that stuff's all going to be exclusive on Patreon. We're just waiting to get some edits on that, and then Wadsworth and I are going to drop some commentary tracks. And he's another one. We're trying to get do alternate commentary on matches and stuff, and like he's doing dad stuff, and juggling a real job, like just the job in the wrestling life is just such a hard juggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to it all. And Pedro and I are we've been talking about doing some stuff. It's just a matter of, and I think with summer winding down, there's gonna be a lot more time to get together and do stuff as we get into the fall and the winter.
There you go. Things to look forward to. So sign up to the Patreon, and I know we gave a shout out to Filthy Tom Lawler being in the AIW Discord. If you're curious to what that massive group chat essentially is all about, it's a $5 tier, so that's all you gotta do, $5 a month, be a part of the AIW Discord. And that's gonna wind it down here for us. We hope to see a bunch of you at the Winchester this Thursday, and for those of you that we can't see there, we hope that you're going to stream with us, live stream it. You'll find out the hashtag soon enough. We still don't know it by the end of this recording, but
AIW Ace, that's what I'm going with. AIW Ace.
Hashtag AIW Ace, that's what you're going to get. And so stream us on IWTV. Again, it's $9.99 a month if you have not gotten a subscription yet. If you love professional wrestling, it's definitely the way to go. You should absolutely do it. Find out who some of the next really big stars are for tomorrow, not just in AIW, but through all sorts of other wrestling promotions as well. You're going to find some incredible talent. So go on there, and you can watch it bell time starting at 7:30 p.m. this Thursday from Lakewood, Ohio at the Winchester Tavern. For John Thorne, the owner of AIW, my name is Steve Guy. We will talk to you next week right here on AIW's The Card is Going to Change.
Rest in peace, Eddie Kingston's Twitter. And the one he forgot the password for, probably. Because remember, he had that old one, and then he made a new one.
Mad_King, yeah.
I think they're both dead. R.I.P.